Am I a fortune teller? Did I predict exactly what Apple was going to announce in the September 2023 iPhone event? Hey guys, it's Derek and welcome to another in-car vlog. The September 2023 iPhone 15 Apple event has come and gone. I'm going to start off by saying from the very outset that no matter what they announce, Apple's iPhones are always going to be pretty awesome products, and that if you were to get a brand new iPhone, whether it's this year, last year, or any other year, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be significantly disappointed in the quality of the product, because Apple makes really good products. Having said that, were there any game changers, anything that is going to compel someone to either upgrade or flip over to iOS from this announcement that we didn't hear about or see from the previous Apple product? And the answer is coming soon. As I predicted in a recent video, Apple announced their iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So here are the big changes from the previous. Carbon neutral, which is a great thing. Apple's moving towards having all their products go carbon neutral, and that's great for the environment, and I actually do think that is a really good thing to be able to recycle their products, use sustainable materials, all that kind of jazz, and I think that's amazing. USB-C, as predicted, because of what's been happening in the European Union, USB-C has now taken over from Lightning. Everybody has a love-hate relationship with Lightning, there's no doubt about that. I think that it's good to have a cable that's universal rather than having to buy all these new different cables, and Lightning cables in general are crap in quality anyway, and you end up having all these frayed cables lying everywhere. You end up having to buy multiple ones, so I think that's a good idea. However, for those who are still using wired earbuds, you now get to pay another $30 or whatever for the privilege of getting a dongle adapter thing so that you can convert your Lightning to USB-C so you can plug it in. If you don't use Bluetooth headphones, you don't use AirPods Max, you're going to have to now pay to use your existing Lightning earbuds on your new iPhone 15. Again, as predicted, new processor, battery life a little bit better, always good things. The storage of the new iPhone 15 is pretty much the same as the previous. I don't really see the point of going much above 1 terabyte in terms of storage. You can always back them up onto your computer, so I think 1 terabyte is ample. There are new functions for the dynamic island, and there is a new action button which you can reprogram to do different tasks, and one of them is to use it as a shutter for the camera and to activate the camera, but I thought we could do that already. There is, I think, a new color. Sadly, I knew it wasn't going to happen anyway, but I was really hoping there was going to have like a mini screen on the back side of the iPhone, and that was kind of going to act like a selfie screen, so you can actually use the main camera to do your selfies and to do video rather than the relatively crappy one at the front, but that wasn't to be, and I really didn't expect that to be. I was just hoping that was going to be. Speaking of the camera system, they've upgraded to 48 megapixels. The camera is a little bit better, and the new feature is also, instead of having to switch to portrait mode now, the phone automatically detects that you're taking a portrait and it switches it for you, which is a good thing. So there's nothing in there which is a backward step. There's nothing in there where you go, oh, I really wish that they didn't put that in, but there are a few things that I wish that they'd put in which they didn't. The pricing is relatively comparable to what it was last year, and you're never going to get a top of the range phone these days for less than $2,000 here in Australia. So they are super expensive. The question is whether you would upgrade. Like, if you're into new tech, then it's a no-brainer. You upgrade every year, and there are a lot of people I know who do that. Most people do upgrade on a 2-year cycle. If you have the iPhone 13 and it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, I don't think it's an unreasonable upgrade to go to the 15. If you have a 14 like I do, I don't think the upgrade is as compelling. Yes, if you're desperate for one of the new features like the dynamic island and the action button, yeah, go for it. And if you've got lots of disposable income, go for it. I don't think it's a compelling upgrade from 14. Anything from 12 or below, I think you just go for it, because those phones are old and you're always going to get better image quality, a little bit of faster processor. The battery is going to be a little bit less able to retain its capacity by now. 12 or below, I would definitely do it. 13, probably. 14, possibly not. And if I was thinking about switching from Android, I've said this before, if Apple made a flip phone using iOS, I would be all over it in 2 seconds. So I really love the concept. It's just something novel. I've never had a flip phone since like, I don't know, the Motorola Razr, which is a long time ago. But I dread the thought of having to get rid of all my Apple tech like the Apple Watch, and I'm not sure that I'm that keen on using Android. Apple's really not given Android users a really compelling reason to jump ship and come across. I think they're missing a really big opportunity. It's almost gotten to the point like there is more reason for Apple users to jump to Android with like the Samsung Flips, if that's what you're into, than there is people who are currently on Android jumping to iOS, because there is no killer feature anymore. And yes, I do understand that as the phones get better and better, year after year, it's going to be really hard to innovate, really hard to come up with something substantial. But Apple hasn't really come up with anything really, really awesome for a number of years now. And I can still remember back in the day when they announced the first iPad, and I was like literally crying. That was the one device that I was hoping for, that I never thought would exist, that I thought I needed to exist. And when it came out, I was literally so emotional about it. And I haven't felt like that about an iPhone since 5G, to be honest. The other announcements that came out, Apple Watch Series 9, so it's the same old, same old. They have the Apple Watch Ultra. To be honest, I think next time I upgrade to a new Apple Watch, which could be this year, we don't know, let's just hold the phone there for a minute. I would think that I'll probably upgrade to the Ultra, because it's just a whole new experience in my opinion. It looks so much nicer than the standard Apple Watches, and it's something I'd consider. But basically the upgrades are, again, a new Apple Watch OS, screen's a bit brighter, battery life is a bit better, you can do these new gestures with your fingers where you don't have to use the touch screen, you can activate things like phone calls and stuff like that. So all pretty incremental. You can check your temperature, you can check your pulse rate, you can do an ECG, you can tell the time. I don't know really what else you can do with a smartwatch. And so I'm okay with the Apple Watches being incremental, as long as they look a little bit nicer. And the one thing that would be great at some point is you can increase the battery life so you don't have to charge it every night. But it is a very small battery in a very highly featured watch. This is something that would be on my wish list. That's pretty much all they announced. So there were no new AirPods, there were no new AirPods Max, so maybe that'll come in the announcement when they announce the new iPads in the next couple of months. No new Macs, no new anything. And basically it was literally just an iPhone and an Apple Watch show. And there'll be a lot of people who are really enthused about it, but I kind of thought that there wasn't going to be anything particularly game-changing, and realistically there isn't. So it's really up to you whether you feel like you've got the money and the desire to actually upgrade your phone this year. I probably won't upgrade because I've got the 14, unless something happens to the 14. I certainly wouldn't, like for example, if I lost my 14, I certainly wouldn't go back and try and buy another 14. I'd definitely go up to the 15. But I don't feel a desperate reason why I should pre-order it and get it on launch day like I have every other second year. That's just it for today. That's the new Apple event from 2023. I hope you got out of it what you wanted to get out of it. Hit me in the comments below and let me know if you're planning to upgrade either your iPhone or your Apple Watch, and maybe the reasons why you are, or more interestingly, the reasons why you won't be upgrading. And I'm going to keep going to work now. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time in another video. See ya.